some kind of obstacle that gets in the way, and some kind of gift that is given that is supposed to help overcome the obstacle. And I thought about what was most important to me as far as this kind of a theme. And the first question that, I knew right away who it would be about, but the two people that it would be about, the treasure would be a person, but which one was the hero? Which one was the seeker? And that's not so easy to determine, but I felt like I was sought whether I sought him or not. And the rest kind of came from there. And the gift being an obstacle, of course, was the medication that was so strong and had such terrible side effects. And the counseling that was given to me that ended up hurting me so much. It was hard to determine, it's like the illness got in the way but I had to get over that being delusional too. It was a hard thing, but I survived it.
We're very glad you did.
Took years to get really stable and get over the distance and the depression and the confusion going back and forth there.
Have you written any more about your experience when you were in that state?
Do you mean in Well Arts or altogether?
Altogether.
I've written. Sure, I've written other things, mostly just for my own self and not knowing how to share it, or sometimes some things in some poems. I'm writing some Katie Scott is writing a poem a day right now, and I've got at least one poem that deals with that also. And
okay,
yeah,
that's great.
The time that I got my the metal plate in my hip and what that represented to me.
Okay. Well, we'd love to hear more from you sometime. What would you like our viewers or audience to take away from this story tonight? Is there some sort of message you'd like to tell them?
Yes, I would like them to have a message of hope and to know that God created us to have a relationship with Him, and we're so unique, each one of us, that every relationship that we could have with God is different than anybody else's, that we're facets of Him, of His nature, and each of us is a unique, different facet, no matter how many of us could ever be born. It's infinite. And there's so much love, and He is a lover that seeks us out.
Thank you for sharing that. Really appreciate it. And now, Sue Ellen Christensen will perform The Weed Eater.
It's hot. I've been putting off cutting the tall, dry grass behind my house all day. I can't put it off any longer, or my neighbor is going to report me to the department again. They'll send someone over from the county who will cut down all the grass in probably less than an hour, and then they'll send me a bill. I can't afford another bill. I have to get out there and get it done. I purchased a new weed eater tool today. I have about 2 hours left till dusk. I go out and start up the weed eater according to the instructions and attack the grass, cutting down huge swaths of the stuff. Wow, what an amazing feeling! The grass falls swiftly at my feet, giving me such a wonderful sensation of power. I cut a huge pathway from my door to the fence in a matter of minutes. I am Wonder Woman, Helen of Troy, and Joan of Arc all wrapped up into one. Nothing can stop me now. I've got my machine. Look out, I'm coming through. God, this is great. I should have gotten one of these a long time ago. It's so easy and so fast. Why did I ever try to mow back there? This is much easier. I look at my watch. It's been 45 minutes and I haven't even worked up a sweat. I am thirsty, though. I could use some iced tea. I go into the kitchen, get some tea, and sit in a kitchen chair. I feel a slight nausea, probably from all the dust and pollen I've inhaled. I think to myself, I should have worn a dust mask. As I lift my glass to my lips, I notice that both of my arms feel strange, as if they were vibrating. I pick up the directions from the weed eater. They state, after you have finished using the machine, you may notice a vibrating feeling in your hands and arms. This is normal. The machine vibrates intensely, leaving this after effect. I think to myself, I should get back out there and finish the job. The other side of my brain answers, you could go out and finish early in the morning tomorrow. You don't need to do it all today. Then I notice a heavy sensation in my chest, making it hard to breathe. I wonder to myself, could this be? I decide to call Kaiser Hospital. I ask to speak to an advice nurse and am put on hold and made to listen to some god-awful music. After several minutes of this abuse, I hang up and call 911. Best move ever. Paramedics from the fire department arrive within minutes. I'm fading, sitting in a chaise lounge on my front deck and looking up into the branches of my 100-year-old oak tree and thinking of how beautiful she is. 5 handsome young men surround me, one asking me meaningless questions like, where do you live? The others busy with various tasks. Somehow, I end up on a stretcher and feel myself being lifted up in the air where I have a better view of the oak tree's beautiful branches. I'm glad I never let them cut you down, I tell her. Now there are more handsome young men. Some are coming, some are going. There's an ambulance. I'm in it, going down my country road to I know not where. I have to go to the Kaiser, I say to the paramedic next to me. No, you don't, he responds. We're taking you to the nearest hospital. I feel myself being carried on a stretcher. Then everything goes black. I wake up. I don't know where I am. A kind young anesthesiologist is sitting next to me, and suddenly we are practically nose to nose. I cannot speak. Something's in my throat. My hands and feet are tied down. I have 5 IVs in me. My chest is a deep purple color. The anesthesiologist tells me I have just survived a major heart attack. I'm in a hospital, in ICU, and I have a breathing tube in my throat which must stay there until the doctor arrives to remove it tomorrow at 8 a.m. He says it is now 11 p.m. He calms me down, partly by breathing with me until I can relax and let the machine do the breathing, and partly by giving me a shot of a wonder drug called morphine. I drift off to sleep. Like my favorite old oak tree, I am still alive.
Hi, artist.
Hi,
How you doing?
good.
Good. I noticed some of your responses, quiet responses to what our reader was reading about those 5 good-looking young men coming to your rescue.
You make me blush.
You have been.
Yes. Yeah, she did a good job. I feel like she really expressed what I was writing well.
And the oak tree image
Yes.
from the beginning to the time in the hospital. It's sort of, I get the impression that was really a good thing, having that oak tree impression being with you, so you kind of coping with it,
Oh, yeah.
the situation.
Yeah. In fact, the feeling of fading away so slowly and then being lifted up like that and seeing that tree, and it was, I thought, man, if this is how I'm going to go, this is really great. This is, I was ready. I was like, man, this is the way to go, you know? I should be so lucky.
Should we all be so lucky?
Yeah.
So, what was it like for you in the workshop to talk about this, to see someone write it or to write with them?
I've always been pretty open about my writing and about my life in general. I've experienced a lot of therapy to recover from a lot of the trauma of my life, and so I think that's really part of what has made it easy for me to write in company. I remember when it was first suggested to me to write in a writing group. Actually, it was by my daughter who first brought up the idea, and I thought, why would anyone want to write in a group? That was something I had always done alone.
Yeah.
But it's a totally different experience.
What would you like our viewers, our audience, to take away from your story tonight?
I think just the feeling that none of us has an idea of how long we have on this earth, no matter what our age, no matter what our state of health. That from one moment to the next, you could step off a curb and a bus could flatten you, and that could be it. Your life is done and over. And so whatever you're going to do with your life, you better do it now. If there's anybody you haven't told that you love, if there's anything that you haven't expressed, this might be your last chance right now, this moment. Not just this day, but this actual moment.
That's really good advice.
This is Miles, and I say that he's my service animal, but he says that I'm his.
Oh,
And it's kind of hard to tell where the line is drawn sometimes, you know, like who's the service animal here? But he accompanies me everywhere, and I just feel a whole lot more relaxed and supported, you know, with Miles along. He goes to the doctor and the dentist and everywhere.
and now he's on television.
And now he's on
He's
television.
making his debut tonight.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for introducing your dog, your blessed
Sure.
dog, to us, because he's just a part of your life, and this is great
Very
stuff.
much. Yeah. It's me and Miles
All right.
all the way.
Thank you. Thank you, Miles. Hi, and we're back. That was interesting with Miles. I'm glad we
Yes.
included him.
Yeah, he is a gorgeous dog, and he's very welcome at all the shows. The audience loves him.
He's welcome here anytime.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Well, I think he liked it, so he might come back.
Yes, I think he might be knocking on the door sometime too. The performance tonight was incredible. I mean, I just really got a better sense of how the workshops are set up and how you provide like a framework in which so folks can think about how to think about the writing.
Yeah.
So I really like that. That's just real rich to me.
Thank you very much. When I first started working for Well Arts, coming from a straight theater background, at first I thought, you know, I've got no psych background, no social work background. I don't know what I have to offer these people, and all I could rely on is my training as an artist. And so all I can do really is to help people tell their stories in a way that an audience can access them, and really think about them and also feel them in their hearts. And theater is a wonderful way to do that, that you've got this whole audience and they're all experiencing this one person's story, and it's a really magic thing. It's something that I find very addicting and that I love. And I always have to tell people too, because I at first we had audience members coming up and saying, "Wow, that's great that you wrote those stories based on those people's lives." And oh my God, no, that's not what we do. That's not what it's about. Everybody writes their own story or dictates it to a trained scribe because, and I think people think that we aren't that good as artists, that we're not all artists, that it takes a special person to be able to write that way. And art is a human inherent right. That there are paintings in the Chauvet Caves that are 30,000 years old that look like they could have been painted today, that it's part of who we are as people, and we should all give that expression in a place that sets us up for success and nurtures that. And that's a wonderful thing that for me to get to do. I'm really grateful to get to do what I do.
And we are so grateful that you're here and you've brought your folks with you, and it's just been a great experience. I just love it. And we want you to come back. Will you come back?
Yes, we would be happy to. Thank you.
Very
so
nice,
much.
very nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We are connecting communities. So appreciate the professional actor performances tonight from the Well Arts Institute. It has been our distinct honor and privilege to produce this show for all of you. We have learned from our writers how they began to find their voices, sharing their very intimate and personal experiences in stories in a safe place during a writing workshop sponsored by Well Arts Institute. Our writers have generously allowed their stories to be heard by all of you, all of us, and the larger community. We look forward to Well Arts' continued success. Good night, everyone, and see you next month for another episode of Connecting Communities.